there was recently some elections that took place over, what was it? It was last Monday, I believe it was. Yeah, last Tuesday, and a lot of big time progressives won. Now there was 2 races that were won by Democrats. There was Ralph Northam, however you pronounce it, and there was also, what was his name, from New Jersey, Phil Murphy. So 2 Democrats won gubernatorial races in New Jersey and Virginia. Virginia, again, was Ralph Northam. He defeated a right-winger named Ed Gillespie. He was a former Bush flunky back in the day, I think, and then he decided to run for governor. And then Phil Murphy defeated, I don't know who the fuck he defeated. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so he beat that guy. So he beat his opponent. And he apparently is pro, legalizing marijuana and a couple other things. But both of those guys are basically establishment types. Ralph Northam is a former Bush. Ironically, he's a former Bush voter. He voted for George Bush twice, and he doesn't believe in sanctuary cities. Now, the argument being used against that is, well, there is no sanctuary cities in Virginia, so who cares? But his positions are not liberal. So it doesn't matter whether he believes in something that's happening in his state or not. If he's against that, then what if this guy runs for president? What if he runs for, like Senate or Congress, and then, there's going to be times when you're going to be voting on voting on legislation that's going to be anti-sanctuary city, anti-immigrant, because a lot of sanctuary city issues deal with immigrants that come into certain cities, and they basically find sanctuary there, so they don't get deported back to Mexico or wherever country they're from. Most of the time it's Mexico, and so obviously right-wingers, as usual, have issues with sanctuary cities, and they attack sanctuary cities as being terrible. Trump is always going after sanctuary cities. San Francisco, he definitely went after that when a young girl who was actually from my home city of Pleasanton in the Bay Area, she was in San Francisco, and then she was shot and killed by a stray bullet from they found a man that was a Mexican immigrant, and this was in San Francisco, and he apparently shot her. They arrested him and they charged him and everything, and Trump used that as to make the point of, like, oh yeah, look how bad sanctuary cities are, like San Francisco are, because they house these immigrants that obviously him and his supporters do not like. So anyway, a couple of the highlights of who won races here. This is an article from Common Dreams. I will post this article for you guys so you can get a better idea of who won these races last week. But Justin Fairfax, a 38-year-old former federal prosecutor, becoming the second ever African-American to be elected lieutenant governor in Virginia, defeating a Republican opponent who openly embraced President Donald Trump. Democrat Danica Roem ousted her right-wing anti-LGBTQ counterpart from Virginia's House of Delegates, making her the state's first openly transgender person to hold elective office. And this guy apparently was super anti-LGBT. He was super anti-gay. He was pushing for all the anti-transgender bathroom stuff, and he was just obsessed with this anti-trans stuff, trans rhetoric, and anti-gay rhetoric, anti-trans rhetoric, anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. So he was obviously obsessed with identity politics, which ironically a lot of people on the left are obsessed with, but not like right-wingers don't obsess over that shit too. And this guy was definitely doing that. Another important one was Lee Carter, a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, which is a wonderful party. He won in Northern Virginia's 50th district over his GOP opponent, despite losing the backing of the state Democratic Party. So the party was not, the Democrats were not supporting this guy because they were like, oh, look at him, he's a DSA member, we shouldn't support him, fuck him. We don't want to have anything to do with him. And this guy defeated he was a Republican whip. He was a whip. So he was the second in command in the Republican Party among the state. So the state Republican Party. So not at the federal level, the state Republican Party. And this guy got ousted by a DSA member. Also, all 7 Our Revolution-backed alderman candidates emerging victorious in Somerville, Massachusetts. So there was Our Revolution candidates, which is the organization that's run by Bernie Sanders. The president is Nina Turner. And these are all progressive candidates that are pushed by Bernie, and his organization. 7 of those people won. The candidates emerged victorious in Somerville, Massachusetts. Let me see exactly what seats they won. Alderman seats. Okay. All 7 alderman candidates were endorsed by a local affiliate of the Bernie Sanders-inspired Our Revolution. The names are Matthew McLaughlin in Ward 1, J.T. Scott in Ward 2, Ben Ewan Campman in Ward 3, Jesse Klingon in Ward 4, and at-large Alderman Bill White, Mary Jo Rossetti, and Will Mabaugh, according to official results posted to the city's website. So these are all Our Revolution candidates that won. What was the seat called again? Wards, aldermans. Okay. So that's big. That's big stuff. Hopefully more progressive candidates like that become more victorious in the future, because this is really good. This kind of stuff needs to happen more, for sure. Not just Democrats, but real progressives from Democratic Socialists of America. Who doesn't want to see more of those kind of people?